This belief actually cost me a lot. As an artist, you're made to believe that you're choosing this suffering lifestyle. You choose to suffer and to perish as an artist. When I started my career, I was like, okay, I just need the bare minimum. I just need to survive and then I'll be okay. You know, I was living on my own, I was going viral, and I was like, okay, if I take this leap, I just need to make ends meet. And I felt comfortable at that thought. I was like, okay, I can be an artist if I just make ends meet, because that was like wired in my system that that's acceptable. And then later on, I was working really hard. I was working around the clock. I was streaming every day. I was making shop or doing shop updates every single week. There was another level of suffering tied to that made it okay for me to grow. So I grew eventually, and then life got comfortable. Like life got fine, but I was working really hard for it. I was still suffering. Your worth should not be measured by your level of independence or your level of suffering. And I learned it the hard way. It just never felt okay. The making ends meet part didn't feel okay when I was just having fun with my art and, you know, at the start of it all. And then later on when I was working around the clock, that didn't feel okay either, because I had no spare time, and I was like, okay, I deserve for this business to go well, to run well. But there was absolutely no space for anything else. There was no space for life. I was just working all the time, and I was doing these shop updates every single week. I always had this struggle with the balance between work and life, and then me thinking I only deserve things when it cost me pain. And it took a while for me to understand and to unlearn all those beliefs. And I have to admit, oftentimes I'm still not there yet. I still somehow feel like I need to work really hard in order to deserve things, and I really need to unlearn that. So starting today, I'm going to draw a prue saying I deserve to be supported, because you don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to suffer in order to get support. And I didn't choose a suffering lifestyle. I actually chose to become an artist because that's what I love to do. That's my passion. And one of my favorite quotes of all time, and I hope I'm quoting this correctly because it's been a while since I actually told anyone about this, but it was from the movie La La Land, and I believe it went something like, people love what other people are passionate about. And I think that was the most beautiful quote. And it says it all. Like, if you spread your passion and if you show people what you're passionate about, people will get attracted to it. There's this level of love and passion that we really crave, especially in this day and age when everything basically goes to shit. I noticed that there's a huge craving for, as I mentioned before, for authenticity, but also for love and passion, beautiful things. Especially art has a huge part into that, because when we look back, every time that there was a recession or there was a hardship in the world, what came to life was art. Art got a boost after every recession. I believe that healing starts with art. And if we think about it, group therapy sessions are usually accompanied by art classes or art workshops, because through art you can actually express yourself, you can find your passion, you can find yourself. And I think that's a beautiful aspect, and that's what I want to do with this challenge as well. For me personally, I'm going to do this challenge in the format of I deserve blah 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 every single day for 30 days. But for you, I made a 7-day challenge that is totally free. You can just sign up. And every day I'll give you a prompt and a little insight. And you can draw your own thing. You can draw whatever you like, with whatever you like, on whatever you like. And there will also be a Discord channel where you can share your art and your own insights. I actually finished it. It's available. You can sign up, you can participate. And I'm already looking forward to see your entries and your own insights and what art does for you. So I want to dive deeper into the topic of support. In addition, I also want to tell you that people who have suffered through trauma or have been through traumatic events in their life or had a traumatic childhood, they even have more issues with accepting support, because that's a level of unsafety for them. Because they grew up in an unsafe environment, support can actually feel unsafe because it's just something that is not wired into their system, into their mindset, and has not been a part of their blueprint growing up. And when you receive a level of support, this might actually feel too good to be true. I personally went through childhood abuse as well, and I realized later on that it was very hard for me to get into a comfortable position in my life. It felt like there was no chaos, or there was no unsafety, and that didn't feel comfortable to me. And so I had to unlearn that. I really got over that part, but it's still very hard not to be too strict on myself. I received so much support throughout the years, especially when I was working really, really hard, but that level of support was tied to my level of overachievement. And so a few years ago, when I had to move and there was absolutely no space or no free time for me to deal with things in my personal life that were added to the stack of things that I had to deal with, there was a lot of time that I would usually invest in my work that I now had to invest in my personal life. And in that time, there were a lot of, for example, patrons who sadly unsubscribed, and I saw everything that I worked so hard for really crash down. And I was so devastated when I noticed that, okay, so this was too good to be true. Was there something I did wrong? But I think I was so used to overworking and overachieving, investing all my time in my work and actually not really working smart. I was working hard, but not smart. There was a huge difference between how I showed up before and how I was able to show up when there was stuff in my personal life happening that really needed my attention. And so I really witnessed it all fall down. I really had to accept what was at the time. And I felt at a certain point that there was this pattern in my life where things went well and then things went really great, but the really great wasn't really great actually. Like there was still no balance, and I really needed that balance. And I think the setbacks that I had to endure over the past few years, it really brought me to the point where I'm at today, and I'm actually really happy with how it all turned out, because I realize now that my level of suffering and my level of independence has nothing to do with my worth. This 30-day challenge will be awesome. I think we will hopefully grow on this channel a lot, and hopefully I get to have a lot of conversations with you. There's also this 7-day challenge, so I hope more people will join this challenge and will join Discord, and then, you know, all of that will build connection, and I am already looking so forward to that. Over all these years, a lot of patrons have stayed. And not only did it allow me to keep this job, because otherwise without Patreon I would not be here at all. Without my patron support, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would probably have had to look for another job again. So I am incredibly grateful for my patrons and for everyone who stayed and supported me and believed in me. So another thing that I felt was really hard for me to accept was people saying that they are proud of me. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that to me until I was way into my 20s. Actually, the community, people in the community started saying that to me. Like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I always thought that they were proud of my work ethics, or they were proud of how much I did in a day, or they were proud of whatever I took on and the projects I did and, you know, the success I had. And I realized that was what I thought was my worth. I was not welcoming the support in the right way. I thought that, as always, that my discipline was praised, that anything else was praised besides myself. And so yesterday I realized when I received a bunch of DMs of people saying that they are so proud that I'm making this challenge and I'm doing this challenge, and they're so excited to see my videos and what I come up with and where it leads me. And I was so touched, and I realized this is actual support on my person. This is actual support to me. Like, they're saying they're proud of me. They were saying they were being so proud that I was so open and that I was so authentic, and they were happy to see the person behind the work. And I was like, okay, wow. That's why today I made this drawing. Like, I deserve to be supported, with people sending me messages that they're proud of me. And I want you to know that when you're saying that you're proud of me, you're not saying that only to grown-up Prue. You're also saying that to the higher version Prue, And you're also saying that to little Prue, who hasn't heard that a lot growing up and who always worked hard and thought that her worth was only measured by her work ethics or what she brought to the table. So I want to thank you so much for your kindness. I want to thank my patrons who are allowing me so much, who are the best people in the world, who kept my business up when life got hard. And I hope that we get to be this awesome community for many more years to come. I'm so thankful for you. So I have the free 7-day challenge up for you if you want to participate in that. It's in the description. I will link it there. You can just sign up. I think I mentioned that it would launch for you on Monday, but I did an extra effort. So if you subscribe to this challenge, I will probably also send you an email within the upcoming week, because next week I will drop my bookish collection, and these bookmarks, hold on. These bookmarks will also be available. They're super cute. I will have mugs. I made a new design. I will offer a t-shirt as well. There will be travel mugs too. It will be awesome. I think you will love it. If you're a book lover like me, you will probably want just basically all that I'm going to offer next week. And if you want to become part of my patron family, I would be super happy if you joined. And I'm also making free doodles for everyone who joins. But basically, I'm super happy that you're here and that you're watching my videos and supporting me in that way too. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!